My mom owned a physical and occupational rehabilitation company, and that dealt with Medicare. So, Medicare wrongdoing, I don't think I can say the F word, Medicare wrongdoing was happening at my mother's clinic, but she wasn't the one doing the wrongdoing. She was the one doing those things. Remember, she and I, at this point, we were traveling the world, we were living our best lives, and she had other people in the company who were handling the day to day. She wasn't handling the day to day. As a matter of fact, if I had to describe my mother during this time, do you guys remember when Toni Braxton went on the Oprah Winfrey Show and said that she didn't realize how much money was being stolen from her because she wasn't even signing her own checks? Yeah, that's my mom. Very Bambi like, very, very just wanting to help everyone. One of the things I really admired about her was she hired everyone from our old neighborhood, whether they were qualified or not. And her reasoning was the fact that she was in a position to hire people and give them a nice salary, probably more than they would have gotten anywhere else. She can just train them and teach them how to do things. And she wanted to be able to provide this resource for people she felt wouldn't have it any other way. And that's one of the things I really, really admired about her. But her generosity and her trust is what got her in trouble. And because my mom was the owner of the company, even though she wasn't doing the wrongdoing, because she was the owner, she was the one they wanted. And this thing blew up, you guys. It was all over the news, all in the papers. You know, like the titles were crazy. Like, she's the ringleader of a $55 million Medicare scheme. Like, it was crazy. I'm being followed around everywhere I'm going, from New York to LA. Everybody in my family's being followed around. Like, it was wild. So quite naturally, when something like this happens, you hire the best attorneys you can afford, and we could afford the best, so we hired the best. But the best came recommended by someone who was working at the company. So I want you to remember that part, because we're going to come back to the someone that was working at the company who also recommended the attorneys. So let me just tell you how the situations with every attorney started and ended, because it was all the same. We'd hire the attorneys. They'd say, we can see very clearly that you're innocent. We can see very clearly that you didn't do anything. Yes, you are the owner of the company, but you didn't have any knowledge of what was going on. We're going to get you out of this, and you won't have to do any time. That was always the conversation in the very beginning. And then about 6 months in, things started to change. The attorneys are getting really dodgy. They're not giving her the correct information. It's just very, very weird. So my mom was like, okay, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. So we need to move on to another attorney. Like, they were giving her the wrong court dates. It was almost as if they were trying to sabotage her. So then I knew a guy that was heavy in the street life, but he had gotten out. So I thought, and he was in another state, right? So I figured he'd know an attorney that was really great. And I knew we didn't need to go to anyone else in Detroit, because this story was so hot in the city. So I was like, we need to move to someone else. So I called my friend. He set me up with his attorneys. Start working with these attorneys. Same thing. We can see you're being framed. We can tell you're innocent. You're not going to get in trouble. We're going to get you out of it. And then, you guys, you will never guess what happened. So my friend, the guy who introduced me to the attorneys, he came to LA to visit me. This is a hard story to tell, because even though this happened, I can't necessarily be mad at him or angry. I'm more hurt. But I also understand how sticky these situations can be. So now he knows what's going on. He knows I'm being followed. He had already flown to Detroit to see my family. He was going to do a whole reality show on us. So he spent the weekend with us. We had this big ass, like 10,000 square foot house, and he's staying in a house, and all the things, just all the things. We had a boat dock in the back. I mean, we had some stuff. So he was going to capture this whole thing. But before we could even get to the filming, he visits me in LA. Now, again, he knows all of my phones are tapped and I'm being followed by the feds. Everything that I'm doing is being watched. He's sitting in the car. I had a white Range Rover at the time. We're at the gas station. He's sitting in the car. He's not looking at me. He's not making eye contact. He's looking straight ahead. And he's like, I know you need to make a lot of money right now to help with the legal fees for your mom. So if you want, I have a way for you to make money. Now, I am sitting there thinking to myself, clearly the feds got to him because there's no way. First of all, I don't do that street stuff. I don't, that's not me. That's not me. So I don't even know why you would even ask me or even suggest that I do anything like that. I've never done anything like that. Not only that, you know that every single solitary thing I do is being watched. There's no way I could have done anything like that and gotten away with it. So I knew in that moment that the feds had gotten to him. So clearly he may have not been all the way out of the street life like I thought, because they were able to have something to hold over his head. So he goes, I said, so I'm just going along with it. Okay, what is it that you think I can do to make money? He said that he was going to mail some stuff to me in LA, and I was to pick it up from the post office box or wherever he was mailing it to, and then I was supposed to drop it off to someone else. Are you insane? Do you know how much time I'd get for something like that? So the fact that this was his suggestion, he did not look me in the eye the whole time he was saying this thing. As a matter of fact, he was just looking down. He was looking very, very sad. I'm not going to lie to you guys. He did not look like he wanted to do it. He looked like he was embarrassed. And I just looked at him in the car and I was like, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And my that's okay, don't worry about it was twofold. It was, I'm not going to do what you asked me to do because you know that will get me in trouble. But I'm also not mad at you because I understand how this works and I know that they clearly have something very heavy over you. If you being my friend is trying to set me up so I also go away with my mom. Now see, here's the thing. They needed me, they, meaning the powers that be, they needed me to be in trouble as well. I'm just doing this because, like, thank God I wasn't. They needed me to be in trouble as well because while I was out, I had too much power. I had too much access. Meaning I was calling Reverend Al Sharpton direct on his cell phone, like, hello, what we doing? How we keeping my mom from going to prison? What we doing? I had too much power. They needed to stop that. So they were trying from anything they could do to get me in trouble so I could end up in prison with my mom.